And then just for those of you who are just now kind of popping on other channels and things, good morning. This is your gentle flow, your deep stretch. Lie down on your back. And if it feels comfortable to you, bring the soles of your feet together, your heels in towards your sits bones. Let your knees hang comfortably open. Relax your shoulders back and down from your ears. Now you can take your arms out to the side body with your palms facing up. You could drop one palm to your heart, one to your low belly. Find the thing that works for you. You could even close down your eyes. And if this doesn't feel great, if you have blocks or supports, you could slide them underneath your outer thighs, or you could also even just bring your feet flat on the ground like a bridge pose without lifting your hips, right? So find that space that resonates with your physical and your energetic bodies this morning. Relax your brows and your jaw. Let's take a few moments here to kind of set the breath. So this is the barometer of your practice. So even in your deep stretch, in your gentle flow, if you can't catch your breath, you're still maybe moving into something that's just not for you today, right? Even as you move, even as you hold, the breath stays steady and even. And the breath proceeds, it takes over the movement, right? The movement can't happen without the breath. So completely exhale, empty out your lungs. And then as you inhale, draw the breath in through your nostrils. Let it travel all the way up. Feel your rib cage expand in all four directions. Your lungs go to full capacity. And then you exhale, let all of that breath come out. And then you truly empty your lungs before taking your next breath in. One of my favorite things from Thich Nhat Hanh, from his book True Love, and I think Ricky Tran says this as well, that as you breathe in, you know that you're breathing in. And as you breathe out, you know that you're breathing out. You breathe in, you know that you're breathing in. As you breathe out, you know that you're breathing out. Now, if it feels okay to leave your legs this way, go ahead and do so. If you're starting to feel uncomfortable, you can bring your feet flat to the ground and point your knees up. Bring your arms up overhead with your next inhale and grab opposite elbows. And just kind of let your elbows and your forearms rest. Now, if that's not quite going to happen, then just goalpost your arms or bend your elbows in any way, right? You can grab onto opposite elbows. Start to feel that stretch through your underarms. Good. Take another inhale. And then slowly release. Cross your right arm across. It's going to be just underneath your chest, kind of grabbing almost your rib cage, and then cross your left arm on top of it. Roll your shoulders back and down. And just hold here for a moment. So crossing your arms across your abdomen, really. Take one more inhale. And exhale. On your inhale, reach your arms back up overhead. And try to cross your opposite arm first this time. So whichever arm is kind of resting on the ground is different from the first side. So for me on this side now, it's the right arm. And then the left arm is kind of supported on top of the right. And you still breathe. Reach your fingertips back. And then as you exhale, cross your left arm across your abdomen and then your right arm on top of the left. Kind of hugging your rib cage, roll your shoulders back and down. Breathe here. On your next inhale, slowly release. You might bring your fingertips underneath your thighs to slowly draw your knees up. Bring your feet to the ground for a moment. Let your low back kind of settle for a second before you move anywhere else. Take another inhale. And on the exhale, hug your knees, your thighs in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins. Relax your shoulders back and down. You might kind of rock side to side here for a moment. I like to take my knees to the right, turn my face to the left. Come back through center with my inhale. And then exhale my knees to the left, my face to the right. Just moving side to side here. Getting this little baby twist from the cervical spine down to my lumbar spine. And then from here, bring your hands behind your thighs. Taking your spinal rocks forward and backward. You might just baby lift the hips. Keep your low back rounded so it doesn't slap against the mat as you move. And your navel in and up towards your spine. I'm going to have you take maybe like 3 or 4 of those today. Right? So get that supple sensation across your spine. And then on your last one, come forward. Cross your feet at the ankles. And then kind of shimmy yourself back so you're somewhere in the center of your mat, right? Stack your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists, your knees underneath your hips. And then you take your fingers out wide, but not so wide that it's uncomfortable, right? Just wide enough. Everything needs to be just enough. And then as you inhale, let your soft belly drop down towards the ground. Lift your chin, lift your tail. Find a sway to your low back. And then on the exhale, reverse the movement. Dome out your upper back. Tuck your chin towards your chest and let your tailbone tip down. And on the inhale, roll back through, your belly down. Press your heart between your upper arm bones. And then you exhale, belly up. Drop the crown of your head down. All right, one more just like that. Inhale, find a cow pose. And exhale to your cat pose. Now you can stick with this, or if you want, you can inhale to a neutral spine. And then as you exhale, start to sway your hips from side to side, right? And then these hip sways could turn all the way into full body circles, so undulations of your body, right? So there's this term, sahaja, and it's this spontaneous movement. I learned this actually from Amy Johnson. It's the spontaneous movement that becomes fluid, almost like water-like maybe, in your body, but it's not just this willy-nilly doing whatever. It's listening to the feedback you get from certain spaces in your body and then moving there in a way that is appropriate, in a way that feels like you're coming home, right? And so you just move around and then you start to find that it feels great, right? It's like, ah, instead of, ah. And then when you're ready, if you've gone in full circles, make sure that you go in both directions. So you even yourself back out. Come back into all fours. Curl up your toes. Zip the lowest part of your belly in and up. So this is important. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, lift your hips up and back to a downward facing dog. Now your feet might be somewhere like hip width distance apart. Your hands may be shoulder width distance apart, but if that doesn't feel great in your body, I want you to adjust to something that feels like it's going to work for you. And then come onto the balls of your feet. Take a bend to your knees and then really lift your tailbone up towards the ceiling, right? And find that true hinge at your hips while letting the crown of your head drop down. If you were to gaze side to side, you could see underneath your triceps, right? Underneath your arm. And then take an inhale, bend your knees, look forward. And then as many steps or as few steps as you need to take your feet to the top of your mat on your exhale. Go ahead and leave them about hip width distance apart. Now on your inhale, slide your fingertips towards your shins, the crown of your head forward, your tailbone back, tabletop your spine. And then as you exhale, drape your chest to your thighs and drop the crown of your head down. Let everything go, relax your shoulders. You can grab opposite elbows here. You could even sway kind of side to side. Again, moving in a way that responds favorably to what is important to you in your practice today, right? What is it that you stepped on your mat for? And then act accordingly, right? Move accordingly. Now drape your hands back down. Completely exhale, elongate your spine. And then on the inhale, roll up one vertebra at a time. Roll your shoulders back and down whenever you get there. And then reach your arms out and up on your inhale. And then drop your hands down to heart center as you exhale. And on your inhale, reach your arms back up. And then as you exhale, sit back and down into a chair pose. Now, I like to heel toe my feet together for chair pose, but some people like their feet separated. You do what you need. Draw the pit of your belly in and up. Lift your chest. And then take just some little baby pulses here. I'm going to have you warm up your legs slightly so that as we begin to go a little bit deeper into our stretching today, since it's not a yin practice, we're not holding for a long time. Maybe 5 or so breaths. So I want you to find a little bit of warmth. You could always bring your hands to heart center if that feels better this morning. Now find a little bit of stillness with your knees bent. Lift your chest. Pull the low part of your belly in and up. Take an inhale. Lift your left heel. Step yourself to the back of your mat and then turn all 10 toes towards the long edge of your mat. Now I'm actually going to have you turn your toes out and your heels in. On your inhale, reach your arms out and up. And then as you exhale, bend your knees and goal post your arms. Drop yourself down. So you're in a goddess pose, right? And then glance down at your knees, your ankles, your toes. If you're noticing the knees are hanging in, it could be for any reason, right? The hips, the inner thighs, low back, something feels tight. But if you see that happening, just go ahead and turn your toes in. Because you want everything to be pointing in the same direction, right? We're not looking for perfection, just honesty. Roll your shoulders back, drop yourself down a little bit lower. Now if your arms are still at a goal post, go ahead and drop your hands towards your inner thighs with your fingertips pointing down. Roll your shoulders back. Take an inhale, lengthen your spine. Now on the exhale, drop your right shoulder down and gaze to the left. On your inhale, come back through center. And on the exhale, drop your left shoulder down and gaze to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, right shoulder down, gaze left. And then inhale to center. Exhale, drop your left shoulder down, gaze right. One more round of that. Inhale to center. Exhale, dip the right. Inhale, right back to the center. Exhale, dip your left. Look to the right. Inhale, shoulders over hips. Exhale, straighten your legs and turn your toes back to 12 o'clock. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. And on the exhale, turn your right toes to the top of your mat and step your left foot forward. So now you're at the top of your mat. All 10 toes are pointing forward. Now as you inhale, reach your arms out and up. And then on the exhale, bring your hands to heart center. One more time, step your feet out about hip width distance apart. On the inhale, take your arms up to the sky. And then on the exhale, hinge at your hips. You could bend your knees, take your forward fold, Uttanasana, drop the crown of your head down. Relax your shoulders from your ears, press into all 4 corners of your feet. Awesome. Now you could grab a block at this point. It's up to you. On your inhale, take a halfway lift. Now drop your right hand on your block or to the ground, making kind of like an equilateral triangle with your feet and your right hand. Bend into your right knee. Take your left hand to the small of your back. Try to pull your left hip back. It might kind of sass out, right? And then reach your left arm up to the sky, opening up through this twist. Relax your right shoulder back and away from your ear. And your gaze might follow your left thumb, right? So find what feels good. If that doesn't feel good on your neck, just look to the left or even look down to your right hand. Good, y'all. You could circle out your left arm if you like it, right? And then from here, you maybe straighten your right leg a little bit more. Only if it feels like that's an appropriate step. Take one more inhale. Drop your left hand down, forward fold as you exhale. The crown of your head hang down. Taking maybe a breath or two here. Relax your shoulders from your ears. Good, y'all. And then on your inhale, take a halfway lift. Your left hand goes right where your right hand was. Bend now into your left knee. Take your right hand to the small of your back. Check yourself out. And then start to stack your right shoulder on top of the left. And your right arm starts to reach up to the sky. Maybe you gaze to your right fingertips, right? Keep breathing. Draw your navel in and up. So you're not just hanging down, but you're also not overly engaging your abdominal muscles to where the twisting starts to feel uncomfortable, right? You got to find that sweet spot where you're supported but not working against yourself. Now maybe you start to straighten out your left leg. It's okay if it's not there. Breathe. Take one more inhale. You can start to circle out the right arm as you exhale, only if you're into it. And then your right arm reaches back to the sky with a breath in. And then you forward fold as you breathe out. Drape the crown of your head down, relax your shoulders. I'm going to grab my other block and just have them close up here by the top of my mat. On your inhale, take a halfway lift. And then as you exhale, step your left foot back and drop your left knee down to the ground. Nice and slow. All right, so from here, just stay low for a moment. Let your right knee track over your heel or your ankle. And allow for the opening of your left hip, right? So now you're going to feel this on the front side of your left hip. Perfect. And just stay here for a moment. So this is a place where you could already have your hands on blocks if that feels better, right? By lifting your chest and pulling your heart forward, you might feel a deeper sensation rather than having your hands down on the ground, right? I know a lot of times we think that blocks makes everything easier. That's not always the case, right? Perfect. So from here, on the inhale, reach your right arm up to the sky. Find yourself in a simple low lunge twist. Trying to stack your right shoulder-ish kind of on top of the left, right? And reaching your right arm up to the sky. Now your gaze follows your right fingertips. You're still breathing in. You know that you're breathing in. You're breathing out. You know that you're breathing out. Take one more inhale. And then as you exhale, drop your right hand towards your right thigh. And then maybe you lift your right toes and spin them out to like 1 or 2 o'clock. Maybe you roll to the outer edge of your right foot and splay your right thigh open. So you could bring your right hand down to a block as well at this point, or down to the ground, you choose. But you're kind of rolling to the outer edge of your right foot, externally rotating your right thigh bone in the hip socket, so you're opening, right? Keep zipping up through the low part of your belly so you don't sag down into your low back. And then you might even take, I'm going to come down to my left forearm for a moment. You might even take your right hand and actually spin your right inner thigh open, right? Make sure there's no sensation or pain in your knee. It's just along for the ride. Breathe here. When you're ready, let let your right hand come back down to the ground. Leave your right leg as it is. So your right knee, your right thigh are opening and you're on the outer edge of your right foot. Again, you could bring blocks with you if you like it. You're going to take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, straighten your right leg and shift your hips back over your left knee. So I'm going to move my blocks out of the way so that you can see my right foot. And I'm going to lift my right toes back towards my shin, but my toes are kind of splaying out towards the right. And I'm digging the outer edge of my right heel down to the ground. This is to get into your IT band area, right? So keep pulling your right hip back, your left hip forward, and breathe. If you like the block, maybe you put a block underneath your left hand, right? Good, y'all, keep breathing. And from here, maybe you keep your legs the same, but you reach your right arm up. Gaze to your right fingertips. Keep breathing. Keep flexing your right toes back towards your shin. Take one more inhale here. And then on your exhale, drop your right hand back down to the ground. Turn your right toes up. And on your inhale, walk yourself forward. Curl up your back toes. Lift your back knee. And stay for your exhale. So from here, on your inhale, reach your right arm up to the sky. Stack your right shoulder over your left. You might have to drop your right hand towards your low back and check everything out. If your left hip is dropping, lift it up by way of your left side waist. So engage your left side obliques and draw your hip up. So this twist is happening in your upper and middle thoracic spine rather than your low back or your hips. And take your gaze up. Now I'm going to give you the option to just stay right here or even with your left knee down, right? Otherwise, if your left knee is lifted and you want to go there, take an inhale. And on the exhale, roll to the outer edges of both feet, all 10 toes towards the long edge of your mat. This is a horizon lunge. And let your right arm reach down, fingertips towards your left heel, but watch your left elbow, right? Your left wrist. Breathe. On your inhale, lift your hips, spin towards the top of your mat, drop your right hand down. And then it's a big step forward as you exhale, left foot to meet the right. And find a forward fold. Let the crown of your head just hang down. Let everything go. Completely exhale. And on your inhale, come all the way up to standing. Reach your arms out and up. And on the exhale, drop your left arm down and reach your right arm up and over. Find a side body stretch. On your inhale, reach both arms to the sky. And on the exhale, drop your right hand down and reach your left arm up and over. Arms to the sky as you inhale. And then exhale your elbows back and down. Lift your chest. And then inhale, reach your arms up. And then exhale, fold yourself down. Let the crown of your head hang down. On your inhale, take a halfway lift. Tabletop your spine, but pull your low belly in and up. And then as you exhale, bring your hands down. This time stepping your right foot to the back of the mat. And soften your right knee to the earth. Bend into your left knee. Just stay here for a moment. You could bring the blocks on either side of your left foot. What is it that you need? Right? Pull your left hip back, your right hip forward, and feel the stretch and the opening on your right side hip flexor. Depending on what you've done already today or in the last few days, you might even feel it at the top of your quad, up in your psoas, right? And if you lift a little bit higher, it's going to intensify what you feel on the front side of your right leg. Roll your shoulders back and down. Pull the pit of your belly in and up. And breathe. Breathe deeply and evenly, y'all. Perfect. Now Let your right hand come down either to the earth or to a block. Completely exhale. And on the inhale, take your left arm up to the sky. Your simple twist. Roll your right shoulder back if it starts to roll towards your ear. And then watch your left knee. Has a tendency to splay out before we're ready for it to. So you're engaging your left inner thigh so that your knee, your shin, your ankle stay in the same line. It's okay for the knee to open out when that's your intention. If it's just happening because you're not paying attention, then that's something else, right? Breathe here. Take one more inhale. Now on the exhale, you can drop your left hand to your thigh, not the knee. You can turn your left toes out and roll to the outer edge of your left foot. I like to bring my hands down and kind of slide the other block away. And I just kind of stay here for a moment before going any deeper. See how you feel. And your left toes are kind of at like maybe 10 or 11 o'clock. You're on the outer edge of your left foot and your left thigh bone. To get that true external rotation, you either have your hands on your block, your right hand on your blocks, or come down to your right forearm and take your left hand to your left femur, your thigh bone. Roll it open without going too deep, too far. So you're letting the inner left thigh kind of shine up to the sky, right? Good, y'all, breathe. Just be here. It's all good. Take one more inhale. Now you're going to leave your left foot as it is. Bring your left hand down. Come onto both hands, your shoulders over your wrists. So this is your inhale. Bring a block or two with you if you want. As you exhale, lift your hips, shift them back, and straighten your left leg. Now your left toes are going to lift, but they're still kind of, you're digging into the outer edge of your left heel, right? So you're still opening your left toes out to the side. Good, y'all. Try to stack your right hip on top of your thigh, on top of your knee. And then I'm extending my tail towards the back of my mat while flexing my toes back towards my shin. Broad collarbones, deep breaths. And then if you want to slide your block over underneath your right hand, keep pulling your left hip back, your right hip forward. You can lift your left arm up to the sky. Twist this open. Roll your right shoulder back and down. Maybe your gaze follows your left hand. Either way you're breathing. Good, y'all. You can always have a soft bend in your left knee if that feels better, right? There's no pain or tension happening in the knee at all. Not around it, not behind it, right? Take one more inhale. And then drop your left hand down as you exhale. Dial your toes back up. And then I'm going to slide my left foot over so you inhale, walk yourself forward. Now you're more than welcome to leave your back knee down. Or you curl up your back toes, lift your back knee as you exhale. Stay right here for a moment. So I'm kind of stretching my right calf at the same time. My left knee is on top of the shin or the ankle and it doesn't move. My right hand is down either on the earth or a block, and on your inhale, reach your left arm up to the sky. Watching your shoulders. You're trying to stack your left shoulder on top of the right, and you breathe deeply into whatever you're creating here. And you know that you have the option to stay right here, just energizing up through your back leg, right? Or you can take an inhale, and horizon lunge is not for everybody, y'all, so be okay if that's you, right? Own where you're at and be okay with it. That's part of your practice. On the exhale, if it feels great, feels better, you spin to the outer edge of both feet, all 10 toes towards the long edge of your mat, and you reach your left arm down. Careful with your right elbow and your right wrist. And you breathe. Beautiful, y'all. Stretch through your right side body. I feel like I pulled a lot from my teachers today. I get a lot of this IT band stuff from Alex Grimm at Uptown Yoga as well. On your inhale, exhale, slowly lift yourself up and back over. Let your left hand come down to the ground. And then it's a big step forward as you exhale. Your right foot meets the left. On the inhale, take a halfway lift. Your crown forward, your tailbone back, your belly up. And then you exhale, drape yourself down. On your inhale, come all the way up to standing. Reach your arms up. On the exhale, drop your right arm down and reach your left arm up and over. Find a side body stretch. Inhale, take your arms up to the sky. And then exhale, your left arm down, your right arm up and over. And then inhale, both arms up. And then exhale, take your elbows back and down, lift your chest. This time, let your hands come all the way down towards your low back and make a fist. On the inhale, puff up your chest, zip your low belly in and up. And then as you exhale, start to bend in your knees. Take your chest towards your thighs and let your fist work its way up and off of your low back. Now it's okay if it doesn't come very far. All right, it's all good. Go ahead and bend your knees. Drop the crown of your head down, and then try to connect your right shoulder to your right knee. So it's okay if it's bent a lot, right? And then maybe you open your left shoulder up towards the sky. Maybe you're looking towards the sky. All right, it's another little kind of twist here. Keep pressing down equally into both feet. Take one more inhale. And then square your shoulders back down to the ground as you exhale. Now let your left shoulder find your left thigh, your knee. Inhale, lift your right shoulder up. Maybe you gaze underneath your right shoulder to the ceiling. Keep breathing. If you feel anything weird in your neck or in your traps, your upper back, just skip it, right? Take an inhale, and then drop yourself back down as you exhale. Release your hands down to the ground. Take an inhale, it's a halfway lift. And then exhale, melt yourself down. On your inhale, take another halfway lift. And as you exhale, bring your hands down and then step your feet back into a downward facing dog. Just notice maybe if it feels different from the first one. And it's okay if your answer is no, right? It's okay if your answer is no. But from here, on your inhale, reach your right leg up to the sky. And as you exhale, step your right foot all the way forward. Now take your time. Inhale, bend your right knee. Take the crown of your head forward. Exhale, standing split. Straighten your right leg, lift your left. Now you could have your hands on blocks, right? It's all good, whatever you need. Take one more inhale. Dial your left pinky toe down. So look back and see if your toes are pointing out to the side. By dialing your left pinky toe down, your left hip is going to drop into alignment with the right, and you will ideally feel this more in the outer right hip. Take one more inhale. And then as you exhale, cross your left foot behind the right. So now you're pinky toe to pinky toe. Perfect. Now on your inhale, take a halfway lift. On the exhale, you can bend your knees a lot here if you need to, y'all. You're going to forward fold over your thighs. Good. Relax your shoulders back and down. So we call this a twisted root. Now, from here, take an inhale to a halfway lift. Now, on your exhale, walk your hands over to the right. So you're getting a little bit more of a stretch here. Good. And come right back through the center. Bring your hands to the ground. Take an inhale, halfway lift. Step your left foot back, and then your right foot back to downward facing dog. Now as you inhale, float your right leg up to the sky again. On the exhale, cross your right knee over, and you're kind of bringing your right knee to your left tricep. I'm going to show you. I'm going to give you a couple of options. You could extend. I want you to flex your right foot and extend your leg long. Wiggle your left toes back and come down onto your right outer hip. But you're still on the ball mounds of your left foot. And you're trying to square your shoulders towards the top of your mat. So this might be really intense, right? And that is totally fine. Ideally, your right hip, your thigh, your knee, your shin, your ankle are all in the same line. And you start to pull your heart forward towards the top of your mat. And if that's just not going to happen, you can always bring your leg down. You could also just bend your right knee and come into a half pigeon, right? So you could bring your right knee towards your right wrist. Otherwise, follow me, yeah? Maybe you come down to your forearms. You're still flexing your right foot. And then some of you might be like, I need more than what this is. I still want you to hang out here for a moment, a breath or two. And then if you actually need some more, you're going to reach your right arm forward, thread the needle of your left arm underneath your right, and come all the way down, right? Your left palm would be facing up, and you're kind of resting on, you're trying not to rest completely on your elbow, but you're probably resting somewhere on your left arm, like between your elbow and your shoulder. Right, so you do what you need to do to get the best experience here. Breathe. If you need to take a soft bend to your right knee, you can do that too. Basically, you're looking for sensation, getting more into your outer hip, your outer leg on the right leg, without creating pain or unnecessary tension. Now you're going to slide your hands back so that you can lift yourself back up. You're on the ball of your left foot. Press into your palm so that you can lift your right hip and slide your right foot back to a downward facing dog. If you need to lift your right knee, your right foot, bend your knee, circle it out, be my guest. Now on your inhale, float your left leg to the sky. And as you exhale, step your left foot forward. You're on the ball of your back foot. As you inhale, pull your heart forward. Now on your exhale, all of your weight into your left foot. Lift your right leg, straighten the left, but glance back towards your right toes. Now your hands can be on blocks, y'all. It's all good. Dial your right pinky toe down. So you want to feel this in the outer left hip. Ideally, when the hips are level and square, that's where it will be. Take an inhale, lift your foot. And then as you exhale, step your right ankle behind the left. And you go pinky toe to pinky toe. So you're in your twisted root. Close down the eyes if you like. Take an inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, drape your chest down towards your thighs. Let it all go. Breathe here. Relax your shoulders, your brows. Let your chest rest on your left thigh. And then you take an inhale to kind of halfway lift, and then you exhale, walk yourself over to the left for just a moment. Feel that out. Walk yourself back through center. Let your hands come down to the ground. As you inhale, take your halfway lift. And then you exhale, bring your hands down. Step your right foot back and then your left foot back to downward facing dog. On your inhale, float your left leg up to the sky. As you exhale, cross your left knee over towards your right arm. Extend your left foot out long. And then wiggle your right toes back. Your left hip, thigh, knee, shin are all in the same line. And then flex your left toes. Good, y'all. Now, take a moment. Be here, right? This might be a lot on your low back. And if it is, do something different, right? Come into your half pigeon. It's perfect. Or lie down on your back and take a reclined pigeon, bending your right knee and crossing your left ankle over the knee. you like this, you could also take a soft bend to your left knee. You could lower your foot so it's not directly in line with your hip if you need to release tension. If you need more, you come down onto your forearms. Good, y'all. This is a lot. Some of you might be like, I gotta drop my right heel down. That's okay, right? Because again, when you asked yourself earlier today, why did I step on my mat? Did you say I stepped on my mat to be perfect? No. I guarantee you it was something else. Anything else. And if you still need more, you reach your left arm forward and you weave your right arm underneath the left with your palm facing up. Wherever you are, y'all, if you can't breathe, and I mean that on your mat, off of your mat, if you cannot breathe, it is not for you. And there's something liberating about that too, right? Being like, oh wow, that's just not for me, so I don't have to worry about that right now. I'm going to focus on something else. If you moved into anything else with your arms, go ahead and walk your hands back. You're on the bottoms of your right foot. On your inhale, press into your palm so that you can kind of press also down to the outer edge of your left foot and lift your left hip. And then slide your foot back and press into your downward facing dog. Your hips high, your chest towards your thighs. Pedal out your feet. Take an inhale, slowly come down to your knees and your shins. Let your big toes come to touch. Take your knees out to the side edges of your mat. And then your hips to your heels and walk your arms forward as you exhale. Find your child's pose. Relax your shoulders back from your ears. Roll your forehead from side to side. Inhale, slowly press back up into your box pose. You can cross your feet at your ankles or whatever it is you need to do to get your bottom to the ground. Extend your legs forward. I'm going to scoot forward because I'm way far back on the mat. And then, you know what? Go ahead and extend. I'm going to have you extend your legs out for a second. Let's take a quick Paschimottanasana. So your knees can be bent. Root down through your sits bones. On your inhale, reach your arms out and up. And then as you exhale, fold over your thighs. Relax your shoulders back and down. Let your heart pull forward. And let this be about releasing out of your low back, stretching your hamstrings, but not straining your lumbar spine. So bend those knees if you need to, right? Let everything else go. Completely exhale. On the inhale, slowly bring yourself up. And then as you exhale, you're going to roll down one vertebra at a time, taking your time until you're flat on your mat. When you get there, take an inhale, reach your arms up overhead, arch your low back, roll out your wrists and your ankles. And on your exhale, hug your knees in towards your chest. Nice, y'all. And then drop your feet down to the ground and let your knees splay open again. Now, if you're not into this, you can take a traditional bridge pose. That's totally fine. If you want to go into cobbler's bridge with me, it starts with your Supta Baddha Konasana, which is your butterfly legs. You're going to press the knife edge of your feet down, Bring your hands down next to your thighs. Roll your shoulders back so that you get a slight natural lift of your chest. And then on your inhale, lift your hips up into the sky. Awesome, y'all. And breathe. Nice, y'all. Very, very nice. It's okay if you notice a little bouncing and like kind of vibrating in the lower body. It's all good. Take one more inhale. And then lower yourself down nice and slow as you exhale. Give yourself a moment before you do anything else. And then you take an inhale. And then maybe use your hands to the outer thighs if you need it. Draw your knees together as you exhale. Let your low back root back down to the ground. And then open your arms out to a T. Bring your knees to a 90-degree bend. Take an inhale. And then drop your knees to the right and turn your face to the left as you exhale. Now you can stay right here in this kind of traditional supine twist. If you would like to extend your left leg long, feel free to do so. And by long, I mean pressing your left foot towards the right side of the room, wherever you are. It's going to be a little bit more IT band stuff, you know. So for those of you that are looking to take classes in person, I'm at Uptown Yoga in Lakewood. I'm also at Yoga 6 White Rock. That's where the majority of my in-person classes are. Those are the two places outside of privates that you can find me in person if you're looking to do some of that. Good, y'all. You can always reach out with questions or anything like that. On your inhale, lift your legs, come back through center. And as you exhale, drop your knees over to the left. Turn your face to the right. And breathe. Now from here, once you're there and it feels acclimated, you feel great, you could press your right foot long towards the left side of your room. And let your shoulders be heavy. Breathe wherever it is that you are. And then on your inhale, slowly come back through center. Go ahead and switch the song to the next song on the playlist for Shavasana. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins. And you can take your feet up into the sky. It's a gentle day, so maybe just legs up the wall. If you have a block and you want to bring your feet back down and lift your hips and place a block underneath your sacrum for a supported legs up the wall waterfall, you can totally do that too. Just going to spend a few breaths here, not too long, just enough to get your feet up in the sky, maybe roll them out. This is actually a great pose to do with your legs, your feet resting actually on a support like the wall for minutes, right? I mean, you could do this for a while. So know that if you would like to just Shavasana that way, you totally can. Take one more inhale. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins. Maybe bring your forehead up to your knees as you exhale. Take one more breath in. And then open up to your Shavasana as you breathe out. Extend your legs long. Let your feet hang comfortably open. Your arms come down by the side body. Your palms face up. Notice how your palms, your fingertips kind of curl naturally inward. And you relax your brows, your jaw, wiggle it from side to side. And rest and enjoy. as you're here, this reminder that self-control is like a muscle. The more you exercise it on a consistent basis, the stronger you get. And as your self-control increases, the more you gain the ability to direct your life in a manner that is congruent with the true you. And the more congruent your actions are with your thoughts and feelings, the better you feel about yourself and the decisions that you make. Whereas your self-discipline is your ability to listen to and take action based on your inner voice, nobody else's, regardless of how you feel, other influences, or temptations you face. And this is the key to self-mastery. Slowly begin to deepen your breath, to wiggle your fingers and your toes. On your inhale, reach your arms up overhead and find your full body stretch. And as you exhale, hug your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins. If you're happy where you are resting, you can just stay there, right? You do you. Otherwise, roll over to the right. Press up to your comfortable, easy sit, exactly where you are. Roll your shoulders back and down, sit up nice and tall. How you do anything is typically how you do everything, so start off and end with great posture. If you take that final moment, that pause, to be grateful for the fact that you showed up this morning to your mat, to your practice, that we have this practice to show up to because it teaches us how to live the rest of our lives. I truly believe that, so I appreciate your presence. Have a great rest of your day, wherever it may take you. Namaste.